Well, welcome, guys. It's been a minute. Um, I realize I haven't made a video in some months, and a decent amount of things have changed in a good way. And where we're at right now is still very busy, and still not forgetting my humble beginnings of AAMPLE and law school and all that good stuff, and translating that into where we are today. Doing the job. Um, So I just wanted to hit a few guideposts today, and then I'll end the video. Nothing crazy long. Um, I'm still actively trying to do the channel. I know it kind of started with me doing ample, and is it for me? And then, going through all those questions and talking to you guys about the process and being just very open and candid, and going through law school all the way up through taking the bar exam, which I actually think I didn't do many videos at all because I was so focused on studying. And now being it's September 1st, which is unofficially my first year in practice because I was barred September 18th. So technically I'm a little less than 3 weeks shy, but I'm in the same month. So it's been about a year of practice. And what I can say is in this line of work, which is volume practice, I've never worked this hard consistently. I do insurance defense, and it's volume practice. We're up against plaintiffs' attorneys, so I represent the insured, and so our firm, we represent. I work on Home Depot, Hertz Rent a Car, Walmart, and just a lot of properties, a lot of businesses, and we defend those clients, and the work is a lot. As an associate at this firm, and if you end up being an associate at a decent large firm like I am, you should expect to be billing starting out around 170 hours a month, which is the requirements here at this law firm. And to be perfectly candid, I wasn't hitting that number when I first started. My numbers were way lower than that because I was still learning how to do the job basically, and not I wasn't capturing the billing for everything. And it was said to me that it was important, obviously, that you capture your hours because you are a cog in this machine. And if it costs more to keep the cog than the cog is producing, they're gonna get rid of it, i.e., me or you when you start working. So I just became more militant about capturing everything that I do as an attorney, as far as I should probably do a whole video on billing, but point one for the phone call. How long did that motion take me? Point six here. 1.2 there. You should be billing around 8 to 10 hours a day to comfortably hit your numbers. So it's a lot of work on a lot of different cases. And one of the things that inspired me to make this video is that I've had a momentous moment in my own career, my first year. And I'm just speaking for me. There are, students who graduated and went to some law firms and they were like, here's your caseload, go, be great. And for me, I had the opportunity, and I still have the opportunity. I still am being mentored by a senior partner that I do work for. We work on they're his cases, but we work on them together. I'm doing discovery, talking to the client, talking to opposing counsel, drafting motions, and then reporting to him where we are with the cases. And then he'll take it from there, and we'll discuss litigation strategy. But just in the last week, I've been handed 4 of my own cases, which I was like, all right, okay, I'm about to do this. I was kind of freaking out at first and had a good talk with my boss. And, he thinks I'm ready for it. And, this is something that, this is the progression. You get your own cases. Like I said, some attorneys, like from jump, they get their own cases. For me, I didn't have that. I always was insulated by somebody else so they can catch my grammatical errors, or if I had an incorrect legal theory, he'd be like, "Oh, I'd run with it this way," which I still have him as a last resort and as a person who's going to review everything that I put out before it gets filed. But now my name is on the pleading, so I'm pretty nervous, man. I ain't gonna lie. I want it to be good. I want to be competent at my job, which I think I am, and I don't think they would trust me with my own cases if they didn't think so. One of the sayings that I've heard is the reward for good work is more work. So that's where we're at right now. And billing, so important. If you are a new associate and you're watching these videos and you've already been in practice and you have questions about billing, let's talk about it. Because I'm still learning. It's an art form to capture everything you're doing and have the client pay for it so your hours don't get kicked back and to meet your billable requirements. What else did I want to talk about? Really quickly, quality of work. I was not the best law student as far as LSV went. I had good substantive arguments, but I would always miss, a spelling here, or is this the best language to, make the analogy to the law to your case? Is this the best transitional way to do that here? Or just like, even something in the case style, if you have two defendants and my motion is written as one defendant, that's just one more thing the judge is going to look at and say, how prepared is this attorney really? So I had a come to Jesus moment last week actually with my boss. He was like, yo, I'm gonna need you to review your work, give it to somebody else, let them review it, sleep on it, and then show it to me. Because I'm sick and tired of, changing your tenses or you leaving a word out. I understand that mistakes happen, but it's up to you to get them reviewed before you give them to me. And I was like, I see you, bro. I understand you're frustrated, and I validate that. So that's what I've been doing, and I can't stress how important that is. The comfort of handing your boss your work and you feeling like, I'm at least 98% sure that it's where it's supposed to be, as opposed to, handing it to him and then it coming back with a whole bunch of edits on top of the substantive stuff that he wants to change. So be militant about, your quality of work in a law firm. You're being paid for your ideas and your writing skills. You're basically being paid to think and to write. So those are two obviously important things that you want to hone in on in your practice. Also, real quick, I want to touch on your stress as a new associate attorney and ways to manage that, because it's going to be there. I'm a little stressed out, but I've learned that coming in on Saturdays helps alleviate stress during the week, because I'm not so worried Monday morning, I got to do this, this, and this. I'd rather come in Saturday when I wake up, my family's still asleep or they're doing their own thing, and I can come in, spend 4 or 5 hours, excuse me, make a little video like this, catch up on stuff I need to, and maybe I can get around to golfing after this. The weather holds, that's a very good possibility. That might happen today. Spending, it sounds cliche, but commiserating with friends who are also in the practice, that helps. I love my wife, but she's not a lawyer. So she could only listen to me complain about the job so much before she's like, all right, bro, I'm going to go ahead and do this and you go do that because I can't listen anymore. And I'm like, all right, that's fair enough. But I can call one of my homeboys and be like, yo, you ever run into this issue? Isn't this stressful? And they're like, yes, bro, I get it. A lot of us funneled into insurance defense, to be honest, or state attorneys. So we're kind of in the same realm. We have people to commiserate with as far as this area of practice. So keep your friends close to commiserate with them and still make time to do what you love to do, and just be prepared with your work. I don't get really stressed out over hearings, because when I know I have one coming up, I prepare like hell. 9 times out of 10, we work it out and they get canceled in the final hour. But if I have to go, I know what I'm going to say before the judge because I'm prepared. So preparation is everything. So keep that in mind too. And lastly, let's not lose focus that this all started from the AAMPLE program. So I'm always still here as a resource for that. And I just want you guys to see that if you go back to those videos from 2014 to now September 1st, 2018, you'll see that I was just a dude who was a teacher, who was like, I think I can do more. I think I can challenge myself. I think I can go to law school. And who did that process and is now coming out of his first year as an attorney and working on 40 plus cases, from my senior partner's cases to my little itty bitty bunch, but they're my little cases, man. I'm excited. I don't want to mess it up. So obviously I'm still here as a resource. You guys still have my email. I'll put it in the description. and my social media stuff. And yeah, that's just where we're at. Still working hard, still have my job, still like the firm. I'm very happy where I'm at. Um, I just can't get over my view. I love my view. You know, when things get stressful, I just look, oh, they built a new level on that building today. Neat. Or look at that building. Or the courthouse is right there. That's the jail right there. So yeah, I like my job. I really do. And I'm just trying to be the best at it. And I'll always be learning, but it's crazy how much stuff I still don't know. A good case in point is one of the cases I got was in default judgment, meaning that by the case was the summons and complaint was served on April 4th to the client, and it never got to the claims department. So the case went into default. We didn't file an answer or response within 20 days. And if you took Civ Pro, you'd know that. And the plaintiff can move for an entry of default judgment, meaning we lose. Now, that's a pretty hard, as an aside, hard thing for the plaintiff to do, just because courts don't like to end cases on clerical error. So they'll usually set aside that judgment and say, nah, if there's excusable neglect, or they have what's called meritorious claims, like we actually have defenses, then let's hear the case for its merits and not just end it on a clerical error. And that's one of the cases I had. And so when I got the case, I reached out to opposing counsel and I was like, hey, I know you have your motion for a default judgment, but will you agree to set it aside so we can just get the case going? And he was like, yeah, because you're probably going to win at that hearing anyway, so let's just do that. And then he's like, all right, so you want to draft a joint stip? And I was like, a what? He's like, a joint stipulation agreeing, we just give it to the court and file it saying that, we agree that, we're going to set aside the judgment and we can get the case going. And I was like, yeah, I know what that is. So do you want to draft that, or? And he was like, well, you need the billable hours, so you draft it. And I was like, yeah, of course, I'll draft it. And that's what I spent some of my Saturday doing, drafting a joint stipulation, which sounds obvious, like, duh, we got to tell the court, hey, we agree to set it aside. We don't need to have a hearing. But, with the language, and I was like, oh, all right. So now I did some research on how to draft a joint stipulation. Could I have asked somebody else to use their copy? Sure, but I want to learn how to do it so I don't have to do that again. I'll just have it, boom, there it goes. So that's just one of the many things that on a daily basis you're learning, about the job of practicing law. I've probably spent, less than a day's worth doing actual legal research, because we know the law. You're not a law student anymore. You're doing practice. Most of my time is spent working on motions and thinking about the best way to work the case for the client. What do we want to roll over on? What do we not want to roll over on? Things like that, and communication with your client and with opposing counsel, and doing depositions, drafting memos to the client after the deposition, um, drafting memorandums of law to the client to let them know what you think the law is and where you're at, preparing summary judgment motions, losing summary judgment motions, and then going on to the next phase of the case, drafting reports to the client every 30 days, every 45 days, setting things for hearing, things like that. Like every little issue with discovery, do you want to work it out, or do you want to go to a hearing and go in front of the judge and have him decide? That happens a lot, all the time. And sometimes you have cool plaintiff's attorneys, and sometimes you have plaintiff's attorneys who just like to be difficult for whatever reason. So I guess I'm venting a little bit because now I see like what the job actually is. But you have your moments where you're like, that was a good win. And then you have your moments where you're like, oh man, I'm stressed out and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And so yeah, you get to learn these things as you go. You get to learn, what's probably going to be okay and what's going to get a little bit of pushback from your client or from opposing counsel. And yeah, so I went off on a little bit of a tangent. This is one of my longer videos, but now I know more, so y'all deal with it. So yeah, that's where we're at. And aside from that, my personal life is good. My wife is good. My stepson is good. We just see each other and hang out and as a family when we can. And I don't know. I have no real complaints about life. It's just, my wife literally is texting me while I'm making this video. Anyway, I guess that's my cue to wrap it up. Till next time, love y'all. Peace.